I regret that I had got entangled with the Honourable Minister of Foreign Affairs in the morning. It was not my intention. I think you can say it. He wants to say something too. Why don't I give him the mic?
Yeah, Honourable Minister.
My feelings are also the same. I don't think we should get into that kind of a thing. Thank you. Yeah.
Okay, let's drop it. Okay. All what I want to say is that what we tried to do, Honourable Minister, was to reduce the time that it took. We did a survey, 6 hours it took. People came from various parts of the world, and we brought it down to 10 minutes. Electronic document attestation system. I don't want to go through it, but all what I want to table. I want to put you. I want you to get this in the Hansard. The opening day's notice, and also I would like to table for the Hansard that project won the best e-government award. Actually, not one, Honourable Minister, 2. That's all. If there is any need of any assistance that I can offer you, I'll be more than happy to help. Now, the point I want to make is you made a bit of a tongue-in-cheek remark. You're only theory, but theory matters. And I'm telling you why. We recently had the privilege of listening to one of the largest exporters from Vietnam. And he said 5 things that drove Vietnam's FDI inflow and exports. As you know, in '95, both our countries exported $3.5 billion each. Our country this year, with the drop of about 20% in exports, will be lucky if we do 11 billion. But it is expected that Vietnam might cross 400 billion. So there's something radically different in the way we approach. And one of his main points was economic diplomacy. That was, if you haven't seen the presentation, I urge you to get it from the Ceylon Chamber. It was in the Sri Lanka Economic Summit. When we sort of spoke to our diplomats, what we found was that they were obviously very well qualified, like you said. People, actually I worked when I was in office, the people who I worked in the foreign ministry was the smartest. And they were really, wanting to work, the hard-working people. But they really needed some additional help in converting themselves from foreign service officers to marketing officers for Sri Lanka. This is a long story, but I am going to get this tabled and put in the Hansard. This is from Harvard University. We started a program called Dynamic Economic Diplomacy online course for 18 weeks. Right? It was a collaboration between the Foreign Office, the Commerce Office, and the Kennedy Center at Harvard. The objective was, the goal of this program is to enable diplomats to play a more proactive role spearheading the government's new policies pursuing exports 20 billion by 2020 vision. We are already in 2023 and we are still at 10 billion. It's an 18-week program, and it says this course is being offered by Harvard Center for International Development for the first time, with Sri Lanka being the first country to engage in such a course. Right? This has been developed to particularly help the country's specific needs. Signed March 7, 2017. Unfortunately, after the first round of this work, it has now, I don't know what has happened to it. I'm not going to talk about anything else but that. And I'm also going to table, and I would like you to take a look at the summary note on the 2017 Dynamic Economic Diplomacy course. What we tried to do was to connect the front office, meaning the diplomats, and the back office, which is essentially the BOI, EDB, and the other government agencies. The first 3 weeks, we tried to tell them why it is important. Then the next 3 weeks, we taught them theory. We said, and also practice. What did Singapore do in the 1960s? What did Costa Rica do in the 1990s? We took those two examples. There was a brilliant piece written by Professor Sanjay De Silva, a friend of mine, professor at Bard University. Why do you want to compare Sri Lanka to Singapore, but why not you compare Singapore to Costa Rica? You know, similar size, similar type of people, similar geography, what they did, how they became successful. So we took these both examples. And then the next 4 weeks, we talked about how do you connect these people, the front office and the back office, and it was practice.
Honorable Member, you have 2 more minutes.
4?
2 more minutes.
Okay, practice by doing, right? So we got 49 diplomats participated, and 39 of them finished. The rule was 333 and 1. 300 contacts yield 30 discussions, 3 active engagements and 1 deal. So it is very difficult to do. But unless we actually go out and try to do it, cold calling was something that they had never done. They said, we cannot cold call. How can we do it? But the actual comments given by our 39 diplomats will surprise you at how successful they were. I'll just read a list. For instance, in Guangzhou, 5 connections with solar. Real estate in Singapore, 10 connections. In Saudi Arabia, food, 4 connections. Pharmaceuticals in Mumbai, 10 connections. Sweden auto parts, 7 connections, etc. So the lessons were that, you know, when you learn about economic or commercial diplomacy, you need a new structure. And you have to have targets. And those targets must be actually meaningful. What the targets that can be met. The importance of knowledge in outreach. You know, the investors are knowledgeable. So if investors know about what's happening, we need to be even more knowledgeable to tell them why sometimes they are wrong and how we can change those. Then also about better understanding of why Sri Lanka has not done well. You know, one comment, I'll read partly. Our embassies and missions are just not set up to really facilitate this kind of work. I think that's an important point. So how do you restructure? Because like Honorable Iran Vikramaratne said, culture, all that is fine, right? But then our target should be to sell Sri Lanka's products overseas and get the FDIs to come back here, right? And then Sri Lanka, you know, the ideas to continue doing this work. One person says, I'm planning to continue this work, and also Minister of Foreign Affairs Colombo has already informed me to meet at least 3 investors and 5 business leaders per month. So how, do we do this? No, we don't. Right? So therefore, if we are, you talk about the need to restructure our debt. I completely agree with you. Right? We can't continue to get loans and develop this country. We must get FDIs. Right? And I want to end, because I don't have much time. This is
something
one person said, right? I can do this. I can do this. I would not have realized that I had it in me. That is about cold calling. When I saw the document from Mr. Andrews, Professor Matt Andrews, he was the gentleman at Harvard who actually did this for us, saying to cold call, I had serious doubts, but Jinko Solar is one of those companies that responded well to the cold calling. They had convened an upper management meeting to discuss potential of investing in Sri Lanka, which is a first step, even if it didn't work, right? And there is an annex, which I would like you to go through. And in that annex, there are people, actual people, you know, in Chennai, Krishnamurti and Asanta De Silva, in Mumbai, Saroja Sen and Bandar, then London, South Korea, France. Somebody said, mentioned Alexei Gunasekara's name, and I might as well mention that, because I too have found out that you know, good work is happening. I am saying there are people around the world that you have. That's your asset. You just need to refocus them towards commercial and economic diplomacy. I don't have any more time. I also want to appreciate all the good work from Aruna Devaraja downwards in that entire ministry. I have a certain, I guess, inherent liking towards the foreign ministry. I'm certainly not jealous of you, sir. I want you to succeed. I don't think that was necessary comment you made. But it's complex. I understand that, right? Some other time we'll have a longer chat outside of this chamber, how we can perhaps do everything we can, your side of the aisle and our side of the aisle, for this country's well-being. Thank you.
Thank you. Honorable Minister.
1 minute, I think. Thank you very much for that wonderful comment and that humility. I will reciprocate it. And I thought it's not necessary in the morning. I shouldn't have acted that way. I don't think public in this country and this house would expect that from people of our caliber. I'm sorry about it. But having said so, I thought I never said that, or I didn't say that we introduced E-dash. I didn't say so. I think I must make it very clear. But I told when it took, for whatever the reason, there were days where 2-3 days of queues. And that we introduced e-channeling system, and also we managed to link the education ministry. And as a result of which, it has substantially come down. It wouldn't have been possible if not for you introducing in 2017 the E-dash system. Then, because I'm only improving on the existing system. So therefore, I think we shouldn't compete with each other. Ultimately, our aim is to see a better country for all of us. I agree with you. And I also want to thank you consistently maintaining this economic position. It's not easy being in opposition about the IMF, about the debt restructuring, about the need to reforms which are required. I know that it's not easy, but I congratulate you for maintaining that, and both you and Mr. Vikramaratne have consistently maintained, without looking for short-term glory or gallery kind of applause. You have consistently maintained that it is required for us to do these reforms, and that is how India has succeeded. So thank you very much once again. Thanks.
Honorable Targa Balasuriya. Yeah, 1 minute.
Thank you. I just need to make clarification on what Dr. Harsha stated. I think once before also in this house he has stated about the program which they carried out in an effort to train the Ministry of Foreign Affairs people at Harvard University. And I think I invited you also to come to the Foreign Ministry sometime back and then to share that. But I did go through the file which you have in your previous office. And I think the first batch it was free, but there onwards we had to pay. And given the circumstances that we are in, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs cannot afford to pay to Harvard. But I do agree the crux of your point that we need to do more in order to educate the Minister of Foreign Affairs officials in economic diplomacy and certainly in the business language which is being used. Thank you.
Honorable Harsha De Silva. Yeah.
Actually, it was free, right? We didn't pay a single cent to Harvard. So, sorry?
Honorable Minister.
Thereafter we had to pay.
Yeah, so I mean, it is easy for us to raise these funds. We can do it. I mean, there are so many grants that go around, and we have an issue, and we are trying to resolve it. I mean, we can approach a grant for that.
Certainly, you're most welcome to come to the Minister of Foreign Affairs and share a cup of tea, and then okay. Thank you.